Testing. Is that better? Let's see if it'll also play some audio. Where's an audio footage that I have here? Ah, this.
Bad week, Jesse. I have a.
Okay, good. All right, cool. There we go. So nobody heard any of my rant. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But either way, we're plowing right ahead. Okay. Wow, how did that happen? That is so weird. I don't know how the settings got adjusted. So, breaking news, federal prosecutors are seeking to wipe out the seditious conspiracy conviction of 12 members of the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers who helped plan the January 6 terrorist attacks and led the charge in the U.S. Capitol. This is what Trump wants to do. Rule of law, baby! Rule of law. Rule of law, as we all know, is when terrorists get to roam our streets and pedophiles get to run businesses. This is freedom. This is capitalism. Oh, said no fucking person ever except who is someone that's a giant fucking simp. The individuals referenced here are adjudicated terrorists. They were found guilty of conspiring to use force against their own government to prevent the peaceful transfer of power. A conservative, Trump-appointed judge applied terrorism enhancements to their sentences. This is the kind of shit that normally only happens to people of color. That's just a fact. When people of color are thrown against the system for similar things that white people get thrown against, or let's say marijuana sentences, or marijuana convictions, or marijuana possession, or marijuana paraphernalia possession, people of color consistently get harsher sentences than white folks. Real Chili, you gotta come up with better burns than a reference to something that I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. That's how bad you MAGA pedophiles are at this shit, that you don't even have references that other people understand. You live in your own little alternate reality where Trump is not raping children and Trump is not actually taking your taxpayer dollars and then sending it directly to his wallet. That's how fucking bad you guys are at all this shit now. Here is a list of all the January 6 terrorists Trump has pardoned who went on to be arrested and charged for rape, sexually assaulting children, or having CSAM. This is who Trump and MAGA call real patriots. An updated list of pardoned, commuted, or dismissed January 6 defendants who have been convicted of sexual assault, rape, CSAM, or other pervy crimes. January 6ers are sexual predators at MORW? Oh, at more than 3 times the national average. Jesus, that's insane. January 6 terrorists are sexual predators at more than 3 times the national average. Wow. That is one hell of a statistic. I wonder if it factored in the MAGA average in there, because if you remove MAGA, the January 6ers got to be like 6 times the national average. So Daniel Tosi, possession of over 110,000 CSAM images. I remember reading about that one. Casey Von Owen Hopkins, rape, sodomy, felonious restraint. Edward Hemingway, sexual battery, criminal confinement. Andrew Grigsby, CSAM. Jared Lee Hawks, sexual battery. Theodore Middendorf, predatory criminal sexual assault of a child. Andrew Taki, online solicitation of a minor. Daryl Eugene Johnson, 4-time invasion of privacy for secretly recording women changing and naked at a tanning salon. David Daniel, CSAM. Andrew Paul Johnson, molesting a child under 12 and one under 16, lewd and lascivious exhibition. John Banuelos, kidnapping and sexual assault. Jeffrey Newcomb, 2 times rape, sexual assault, gross sexual imposition, corruption of a minor. His first victim was a deaf 14-year-old. Jesus fucking Christ. Kyle Colton, CSAM. Kenny Brian Lazo, aggravated sexual battery of a minor. Dylan Colby Harrington, rape. Really nothing else you need to know about him. Sean McHugh, unlawful sex with a minor. Austin Jaggers, rape. Landon Brady Manwaring, enticing a minor, dealing with material harmful to a minor. Joseph Martin Pastucci, rape, aggravated indecent assault, sexual assault, indecent assault, stalking, and false imprisonment. Alan Michael St. Ongi, sexual assault on a female. Jesus Christ. This is what I'm talking about when these MAGA pedos get into my comments. Like, there is nothing you can say about me that makes me, even compares remotely to this kind of shit. I mean, you understand that this is what you guys are defending, right? This is you. This is your people. Hell, some of you in the comments are probably doing this exact same shit. That's why you're in the comments getting all butthurt and triggered, because you're talking about me rather than talking about this. And MAGA, every single time, they are the masters of misdirection, and you just have to hammer it back in. They are pedophiles. They are rapists. They are exactly the creepy ass motherfucker that you do not want living next door. That is MAGA. So let's talk about this guy. Pardoned January 6th rioter, copying plea in a child porn case. David Daniel, I don't think he was on that list, was he? Oh, there he is, CSAM. Capitol rioter pardoned by President Trump, so let's just take him for example, is cutting a plea deal with federal prosecutors in a separate case and involves sexual exploitation and child pornography. Daniel hammered out a plea deal after being charged in North Carolina with sexual exploitation of a minor. Hang on, let me see if I can adjust this. There. Sexual exploitation of a minor and possessing sexually explicit images of children, according to new legal docs obtained by TMZ. The court docs, signed by Daniel's lawyer, say in 2015 and 2016, Daniel coerced a minor younger than 12 years old to engage in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing any visual depiction of the conduct. This was in 2015 and 2016, right? This was before Trump, being the pedophile that he was, like, made this was before pedophilia was mainstream Trumpism, right? That's what happened here. So right after this, he globbed onto Trump's butthole and just sank his teeth in there and just burrowed like a fucking prairie dog to make sure that he could get him elected. And then, lo and behold, what happened next? He goes to the January 6th terrorist attack 4 years after he was already trying to coerce a minor younger than 12 years old. And it doesn't even seem to say that he was charged. So he was he was charged, but he wasn't charged until when? When was he charged? I don't think it says that here. Like, was he charged post 2016? Was he charged post 2020? Where was this? Where was this in the pedophile Trump mainstream timeline? Like, where in the multi-pedo Trump verse was this? Can we get some like nerd wonks on this, please? Prosecutors say Daniel used a phone to document the sexually explicit images and kept them on a hard drive. Feds also say in 2021, Daniel coerced another minor under the age of 18. This is in 2021, so this was after they were already on the look for it. So he never stopped. 2015 and 2016, he's trying to rape a child. And then 2021, he's trying to rape another child, engaged in sexually explicit conduct for the purpose of producing any visual depiction of such conduct. These people are just, MAGAism is just the fucking worst of the worst of the worst people. That is all that they are. That's all they've ever been. That's why Trump is, they're so fucking latched onto him, man. That's why they literally tie themselves to him while Trump is walking over them and pissing on them and then shoving their head into the fucking urinal cake. They want to attach themselves to him because they are awful fucking people. And Trump is the embodiment of awful fucking human characteristics. And I use human very fucking lightly here. But he is. He is the embodiment of everything fucking evil on the planet. Pedophilia, terrorism, narcissism, just everything under the fucking book. You want to talk about every goddamn sin in the Bible? Trump embodies it. And they just latch onto him because he gives them an excuse. He gives them a justification. He says, hey, look at me. Hey, look at me. I'm successful. I have a big business. I have an implanted penis. I have a lot of women that I have sexually assaulted, and I got away with it. And I can tell you that it's good. It's good being bad. Not only is greed good, but also being a perv is as well. That's my motto. Pervyism is good. I'm going to have that on my headstone. And now I want you to know, vote for me because I will give you the okay to be bad. It is okay to be bad, people. Everything is okay when you're bad. That's what he has done for these people. And that's why, again, 2015, 2016, before Trumpism even started, he's already a terrible person because he's trying to rape a child. He just gets to continue it now. Not only that, but he gets away with January 6th. And now he's going to get a fucking plea deal. Let's see what he got for raping a child. This time, prosecutors say Daniel instructed the alleged victim on what kind of child sexual abuse material he wanted, and the victim sent them to Daniel's iPhone using an online messaging system application. Jesus Christ. There's also something wrong with parenting. Look, I know that victims are coerced and manipulated in all kinds of ways by pedophile predators like this Daniel. What's his name? Daniel Hammer. What's his fucking name? Am I stupid? Daniel something, whatever. But the point here is that parents, there's got to be a little more involvement. I don't know what specifically went wrong here, but something went wrong to have your child in a situation where this man who must have been in his 20s, maybe even 30s, to do this. Something went seriously wrong. Malignant narcissist, same as Hitler, added $8.4 trillion, first presidency. I agree with all that. Yeah, we're seeing a ballooning of the deficit, which Republicans used to care about, right? And malignant narcissist is the kindest description of how awful he is. There's way more adjectives that I would like to use, but yes. The Feds say they found the CSAM in November of 2023, the same month Daniel was arrested in connection with the January 6th terrorist attack. So that's the thing. They didn't even know he had this. They wouldn't have known that he was trying to rape a child if he hadn't been arrested for January 6th. So not only did the January 6th arrest stop him for a terrorist attack and committing other terrorist attacks, it also stopped him from raping other children. Daniel was among the roughly 1,500 January 6 rioters pardoned by Trump in January 2025, and earlier this year, a judge ruled the pardon did not apply to Daniel's child sex abuse material case. It's unclear when Daniel is set to be released. Like, this is Trumpism. 1,500 of these kinds of pedophiles, rapists, and terrorists are now among us, walking our streets in God knows what places and teaching in schools or whatever fucking else. And where are the Democrats on this stuff? They continuously waffle on this issue. I do not want to live next to a January 6th terrorist who's also a pedophile. I don't. There's your campaign message. Ask soccer moms while you're at the stadiums. Do you want to live next to a January 6th pedophile and terrorist? Do you want to live next to a guy who tried to use a flagstaff as a pole to stab a Capitol Police officer with while they were trying to overthrow our government? Is that what you want to live next to, America? Where are the Democrats making this a fucking issue? So the Republicans, as I said earlier, masters of projection. Here we go. God, Miller is such a creep. Ugh.
Here, has the president said anything about Swalwell? I don't know if he said anything. Has he been following that?
Why, has he had a bad week, Jesse? I haven't been watching.
You might be busy with bigger matters of war and peace.
Couldn't have happened to a better person.
Look at how awkward they are. There's no like chemistry here. There's no actual good banter. And the timing is off. They're uncomfortable around it. They don't say any of it with confidence. They don't say any of it with like any good quip. It's just like, yeah, Swalwell is bad. Yeah, he's it's ultimately Beavis and Butt is like, so the Swalwell guy is like pretty stupid. Yeah. I heard he's had like a bad day and stuff. I bet he has a butt burn. Yeah, his butt is on fire. Yeah, fire! Like, that's the energy these two bring.
But look, here's the most important thing if we have 10 seconds on this, and I'm sure you would agree with this. The most important part about this story, and look, Swalwell is a scumbag. He is a terrible person, the worst of the worst, the lowest of the low, the most dishonest of the most dishonest. But the real story here is how the Democrat Party controls its members through blackmail. It's got a blackmail file on all of its politicians, and it uses them to leverage and control them until it's time to release it. That is how sick and twisted the Democrat Party is. That's the next thread we've got to pull out here, Jesse.
So the Democrats can control this guy by getting a sexual predator to resign? Do you see how long it took him to resign? He sent out a fucking cease and desist letter. And it wasn't the Democratic Party that had this. It was the victims, you bald-headed schmuck. God, you are so fucking ugly. He is like if a baby was born ugly and grew up to be ugly. That is what this guy is. My God, where are your eyebrows, dude? Do you peel them off when you shed your skin each morning? God, he's such a creep. Republicans have always been bad for the economy. 11 total recessions in our history and 10, so 90.9% under a Republican president. Yeah, 100%. I've lived through 3 of them, soon to be 4 now because of what Trump is doing in Iran. But this is just like, again, it's always projection. They can't talk about Trump being a pedophile and being in the Epstein files more than anyone else, like a million times. So they have to turn it on to Swalwell. And here's the other thing. When the Democrats support people like Swalwell, if you recall, Swalwell ran for president, what was it, like 2020 or something? I think it was 2020. And when these people, and now he was in Congress, so like when you support these terrible fucking candidates who there is absolutely like behind the scenes whisperings because they absolutely do background checks on the guy. I'm sure they don't have all the specific details, but it's probably something along the lines of like, oh, well, there was a story of this, this, and this, 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 and this. There are plenty of better candidates out there. We are not short of them, and yet the Democratic Party keeps running these kind of sexual predators to get laughed at by these kind of sexual predators. Ugh. Trump isn't going to say a word about anyone's sexual abuse because it turns back to Trump. But that's the thing. He does. He did it against Hillary. He kept talking when the Hollywood tapes got released. He just talked about Bill Clinton. Reverse, totally Dar voted. Just gaslit everybody. And it worked. It works. I mean, fortunately now I think we're seeing the end of that capability to be successful, but it's still a potent counterattack.
And one for Caroline as well as the administration in general, if I may. This past Saturday,
Nazi.
I published a video of now former Representative Eric Swalwell in
He's so like humble bragging. Like, I posted a video of Eric Swalwell, and I don't need to take credit, but I posted it. You can say that up there. Thank you, Carolyn. Thank you.
Ed, the president's heading to Las Vegas. Well, Eric Swalwell was in Las Vegas. And
See, there he goes. Trump sent me here. Trump sent me here.
This scandal has erupted now. Accusers coming forward, many others coming forward, as well as questions regarding his extremely close relationship with Arizona Senator Ruben Gallego. And I want to know if the administration had any comment on the fact that Senator Gallego seemed to be very vocal about wanting the release of the Epstein files, and yet when questions come to his own involvement with Eric Swalwell, he doesn't seem to want to provide anything.
The fact that he's bringing up the Epstein files and there isn't an immediate follow-up afterwards of like, speaking of the Epstein files, Trump's in there a million times, and it's said that he tried to rape a 13-year-old girl through oral sex, and then she bit him on his cock. Does he have a hole in his dick now? The White House press corps is such a fucking joke, and now they're willing to do this whole White House Correspondents Association with Trump, who has endangered many of their lives. I'm telling you, corporate media needs to be abolished. They're not as much of a threat as Trump and MAGA, but they're damn fucking close.
Yeah, look, I think the accusations and allegations against former Representative Swalwell are despicable and disgusting. I think it's also quite plausible, as you point out, Jack, that there were many other Democrats in this town on Capitol Hill who knew about his perhaps illegal behavior, certainly his disgusting and inappropriate behavior, and why were they silent for so long? I think those are questions that must be raised of these sitting representatives, including Mr. Gallego, and I hope that the journalists in this room will do their jobs, and the journalists on Capitol Hill will do their jobs to ask Democrats in power how they knew about such despicable behavior from one of their elected representatives for so long, but never said or did anything about it. So that's what we hope to see as far as the White House and the president is concerned.
See, Armageddon, this is what I'm talking about. They never actually acknowledge anything about them. They just immediately counterattack. This is gaslighting. This is what they do. And it can be very effective, but the fact is that Trump's done it so much, and there's so much factual information about him being a pedophile rapist, and also he's fucking with your gas prices. So that's where shit starts to make connections to folks. You know? A lot of these MAGA people, well, I don't know why I started doing an Arnold impression there. Yeah, well, I can tell you that he may be a pedophile, okay? He may be handsy with the housekeeper, but when it starts affecting the prices for my G1 Jeep that is set at 3.5 Mach 9, then we have a problem. Then I cannot support him. That's where the dots start connect with MAGA, and that's why these attacks just aren't nearly as effective. And it's also to degrade facts, to degrade truth, to degrade reality, because that's what fascists do as well. They always try to reverse and deny everything so that you are the problem. They will literally burn down your house and tell you it's your fault. It's the domestic violence cycle. So this is what AOC had to say.
Councilman, do you think if this were not a sort of one Republican, one Democrat situation, that there would have been as much momentum to vote to expel them?
Yeah, I will say that in the Democratic caucus, I think the response was very swift. You see it, I'm sorry, but you see a difference here. We actually held a member of our own party accountable. And I do think that because we held one of our own accountable, then because Republicans, frankly, Tony Gonzalez has had this issue in the public.
Hang on, we got a war breaking out in the chat here. Please read his username again. Are you talking about Armageddon? 666XI? Yeah, Armageddon, isn't that like some Nazi bullshit? What you doing in here? And then you're talking anti-Trump stuff? You are a confusing person. You should watch less Democrat propaganda. Brother, it's literally Trump speaking. It's literally the representative speaking. I literally just had a clip of Fox fake fucking news, and you're telling me to watch less Democrat propaganda? You guys, you're so cooked. You have nothing. You have absolutely fucking nothing. That's why it's, what, 5:30 at night, and you're coming into my chat rather than, I don't know, see a friend, go to work, watch TV. You guys have absolutely fucking nothing. And that's, honestly, I hope the gas prices hurt you so fucking bad you go bankrupt. I do. More bankrupt MAGA is better for America because that means you have less money to be able to buy guns so that you and your January 6th pedophile terrorists can go rape children next door. The war is to fluff the wallets of oil and defense contractors' wallet. Again, I agree on that. But your name is confusing, brother.
Like for months. The only reason that this is changing in terms of a resignation today is because the Speaker of the House feels like he can play politics with the vote numbers. I'm just calling it how I see it. And the fact that we have victims of abuse and these things are being handled in that kind of calculation is disgusting. And
she's 100% correct there. I mean, the stuff with what Tony Gonzalez has been out for a while, but then as soon as MAGA had something on Swalwell, boom, it turns, right? Then sexual assault becomes a problem. Then rape becomes a problem. Then, oh, we need to protect women. Then that becomes the big talking point of the day or the week or whatever else it may be. But once it's seen that, okay, the Democrats are going to make Swalwell resign, so let's get Tony Gonzalez out there. So, we can take a little bit of a W each way. It's just, MAGA doesn't believe in anything. They're just purely political and about power. Speaking of
good morning,
rape and more problems with rape in society, this is the kind of shit that gets women to not be able or not feel comfortable or safe in speaking. LAPD Commission. 2019, a woman filed a crime report against future LAPD rape cop Gabriel Espadas for stalking and terrorizing her. She never heard from the LAPD until last Friday, 7 years later. I don't know. This is a 3-minute video. I don't know if I have time for it.
So you mentioned something about crime trends. Jeff asked, how does that compare to other cities? I'm going to tell you, it's consistent with national trends and state trends. In fact, LA is lagging behind San Francisco and Oakland, lagging behind DC, Detroit. So this is what we're seeing. It's just, you guys aren't doing anything special. In fact, you're doing it with fewer cops. Crime is dropping with fewer cops.
XNF. Trump is a pedophile. He's in the Epstein files a million times. He tried to sexually rape a 13-year-old child, and she bit his dick in order to get him off. That's not tribalist fantasy land. That's not the propaganda house. Those are facts. Those are her evidence. Those are her accusations. If you have something else to disprove that, then you present it. But you can't, and Trump can't. That's why he goes from the Epstein files are a hoax to there's Democrats in the Epstein files to I never knew Epstein to Epstein had pictures with me and other Democrats. You guys have, this is what I'm talking about. You don't believe in anything. You're just here in the comments trolling like a fucking loser, which I'm all here for. By the way, thank you so much. Feed my engagement. I'm all for this. But you don't believe in a goddamn thing. This same shit you're saying, I guarantee you want to talk about propaganda hose? What's your news source? How often a day do you listen to Daily Wire or Alex Jones or Fox Fake News? Tell me that, man. Go ahead. Let's see.
Rasha, you asked, are people reporting crimes, right? Like, people are being murdered and bodies are just laying around on the street. Nobody's reporting it. Nobody's reporting being shot. Come on. Can we stop this? It's like you guys want to make excuses for the fact that crime is dropping with fewer cops. This guy's...
Okay, you don't watch any of those. So where do you get your news? How do you know about any of the subjects I'm talking about? How do you know the things that I'm talking about are fake when you don't watch news, right? What do you watch? You don't watch news. So how do you know that Trump's not a pedophile? You're such a fucking little small-brained limp dick bastard. You really are.
Says, hey, you know what? We really encourage people to report crime. Let me tell you what happens if you report crime. In 2019, a woman reported being terrorized by future cop Gabriel Spadas. This is in 2019. And she never heard back from them until Friday. 7 years later, all of a sudden, because it's in the news, now we want to talk to you, ma'am. Now, in 2020, when he was hired by the LAPD, he failed his polygraph test. And what question did he fail on, from what I understand? It was the question relating to, have you ever had sex with a minor? He failed that, and then the LAPD hired him. And then 2 years later, he has a woman that's on a 5150 hold. Once he gets out of the hold, he's reaching out to her, letting her know, I kept you out of jail. And then he's having anal sex with her and fisting her and trying to make her have sex with dogs. With dogs. Now, all this information was available because it's...
Holy fuck, dude. Oh, man. My boy Confederate flag here ain't happy about this. Wow. I gotta catch my breath. That is, that's a lot.
Backed up in the text messages. Come to find out, Chief McDonnell went and looked at a complaint related to her lawsuit that we are now settling right now for many millions of dollars, and he ruled it demonstrably false. He didn't even interview the victims. He just ruled it demonstrably false to cover it up. Now, over the last couple of weeks, you guys are liars, right? There's been a leak of LAPD documents. You and the LAPPL, who's faking it, have known about those leaks, have known about the scope of those leaks. They lied and said, oh, no, these are all old adjudicated.
He is so mad. Oh, man. Mr. Grumpy Stiltskin here is not happy.
Cases? No, it's not. Gabriel Spadas' case is right in there. I have everything. I have the interview records, body-worn video, all types of shit. And what we saw is you guys covered up a rape. Internal Affairs, called him a predator. Said what he did was akin to a crime, but yet you did not investigate it. In fact, the only person investigated was the victim in the case, who had a detective come to her house to try to investigate her for a crime. You guys are going to hell, and you fucking deserve it. Good morning.
Damn. So I really wanted to run into this guy. I think his name is William Goudet. I was hoping I'd run into him at some of the protests, but he's an absolute badass that does this shit for a living. I mean, each night he's just out in the streets filming the cops, keeping them out from harassing the community. This is the voicemail she received on Friday. They wanted to see if they could address her concerns. A year after the LAPD ignored her concerns, Espadas failed his pre-employment polygraph. Ben told us related to a question about sex with underage girls. Why was he hired? Sergeant Alinas from LAPD Internal Affairs just calling again just to make contact with you and to see if there's anything we can do to address your concerns. If you would like, this sounds so much like someone trying to. I love how the transcript says low confidence. This really sounds like someone who's trying to this is like damage control. This is like media damage control when you have a lawsuit pending. This is something they have to do because of their policies and because of the public concern over it. But yeah, this is not someone who's here to actually make your life better. They're there to make the company's life better. In this case, the organization of the LAPD. If you'd like to give me a call back, again, our phone number, blah, blah, blah. This way, kindness, which is blah, 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 which I monitor daily. If you don't mind, if you can just shoot me an email. So, wow. Now I have a better understanding of this. LAPD not only buried a rape complaint, but hired the rapist as a cop, even though he reportedly failed his polygraph on the question Whether you ever had sex with a minor, ex-cop Gabriel and Anthony Espadas is a real piece of work, but so is Chief McDonald. Wow. Damn. That's a lot. So again, if this is why women are afraid to come forward. This is why we have pedophiles and rapists like Trump and dipshits like XNF in my chat defending pedophiles who rape children like this guy did. This is one hell of a story. And this happens. You can't get, ICE does this shit every day. They're doing it right now as I'm streaming. I'll get to it next. But they do this shit every day. So do the cops. You cannot be anti-ICE if you are not also if you are not also ACAB. Speaking of, Michael John Hogan, DOB 1980, blah, blah, Laredo, Texas, number 84 on a list of ICE/CBP sexual predators arrested last week on charges of indecent assault. So let's see, where did I leave off last time on this one? 84. I left off with this guy. Edgar Fidel Garcia, 36, Border Patrol agent from Laredo, charged with sexual assault, second-degree felony, sexually assaulting an incapacitated woman at an after-party in his house. CBP supervisor, I think I read about this one too, admitting to possessing over 3,000 images and 70 videos of CSAM, some featuring children as young as 3 years old. Arnaldo Echevarria, 40, an ICE deportation officer from Somerset, New Jersey, was sentenced in October to 84 months in prison for shaking down undocumented refugees for bribes in the form of cash and sexual favors. Michael Banks, the chief of U.S. Border Patrol, who was appointed by Trump in 2025, has been credibly accused by multiple Border Patrol insiders of bragging about his frequent sex tourism. That's right, I heard about this, like Thailand and Colombia, preying on impoverished, vulnerable sex workers. So this is all shit that's in, like, these are people who've actually been arrested. This is someone who's been before a judge, been before a jury, been before a defense and a prosecution, and was convicted. But hey, according to the guy in my chat, it's all propaganda, guys. Just a fire hose of propaganda. I'll tell you what, shitload of mugshots for being just propaganda. Lot of mugshots for being just propaganda. Interesting how that works. Nuremberg 2.0 needs to end with the assets of all those guards seized and handed over to their victims. This is 100% correct. April 2nd, guards cut all phone access in the housing units without warning when detainees protested. CRS officers allegedly punched a man, threw another to the ground, kicked him in the head, and pinned him by the neck. A third detainee's wrist was broken. The entire cage was pepper sprayed. Wow. Yeah. Hell is not hot enough, nor big enough, nor close enough to these people. Wow. It's horrific. A U.S. citizen describes a facility her husband was brought to while he waited for a deportation flight. Dozens of people crammed into tiny cells, a chain of people vomiting from filthy toilets, no medical care, and only one meal per day. Her husband said the smell of human feces in the toilet caused a fellow detainee to vomit and in turn created a chain of people vomiting. She said her husband is asthmatic and has not received medication to treat his condition. The lack of medicine and the stress of the overcrowded holding cell has left him short of breath and teetering on the edge of an asthma attack, Burrow said. ICE did not immediately respond to questions on April 10th about the conditions in the Mesa or Phoenix facilities. After the publication of this article, Barrera told the Arizona Republic her husband was transferred to the ICE facility at San Luis Regional Detention Center about midnight. San Luis Regional Detention Center is in southwestern Arizona, has the capacity to hold 700 people. You nabbed Mrs. Guthrie. Who are you talking about? Mrs. Guthrie? Are you talking about the lady that... You're not talking about Maxwell, are you? I don't even know what this comment is about. You're talking about Virginia Guthrie? Fuck, why does that ring a bell? What am I thinking? Virginia Guthrie? Wasn't that the mom that disappeared? Virginia Guthrie. American Australian advocate for survivor sex trafficking. Oh, she was one of the victims. That's right. Yeah, wasn't she the one that died? Yeah, they said she died by suicide. Yeah, okay. Even though that her family said that she specifically was not feeling suicidal. Yeah. Suicide. Okay, sure. That makes sense. So, Mr. D, you can see, is that what you're talking about? because no one thought she was a pedophile. She was a victim of the sex trafficking pedophile ring, which was Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. Imagine being so partisan brain that anyone who suggests you dial it back a notch must fit the stereotype fed to you by partisan propaganda. My brother, I'm pissed off because I'm reading about how sexual pedophiles are in charge of our government and are also in places of power. If you're not mad about that, you're just an idiot. There's no dialing back a notch. There's no compromise. There's either we hold pedophiles and sexual predators accountable and keep them out of power in government, or your approach of letting them continue rape. You see the difference here? You see why I don't take you serious? Very, very serious allegations of mass civil rights violations of the state of Florida's Everglades Immigration Detention Center, officially known as Alligator Alcatraz. I think this is just a repeat. Court filing in Fort Myers. Yeah, I got a attorney, Karen Blankenship. Erupted after site employees cut off. Day-long prohibition came. Yes, this is the story I just covered here. Dilley is evil and must be closed. It's a goddamn concentration camp, a moral abomination. People are going to hell over this. A few days after the incident in which Amalia lost consciousness, Marcano brought her back to the clinic at Dilley. A staffer measured Amalia's blood oxygen saturation, which, in a healthy individual, is between 95 and 100%, and found that it was in the low 50s. Such a low amount of oxygen going to the brain can, if it's long enough, kill off parts of the brain. It's really, really high stakes, Prantik Saha, a pediatrician who reviewed Amalia's medical records, told me. It's shocking that this level of callousness and omission of care could occur. Amalia was taken to a local hospital where it became clear that she needed care beyond what the facility could provide. She was transferred to a larger hospital in San Antonio where she was given 5 diagnoses: COVID, RSV, bronchitis, pneumonia, and an ear infection. Jesus fucking Christ. She received supplemental oxygen and intensive care. This is insane. And again, this is what the Democrats wanted to support. The Democrats, back during Biden's era, were the first ones who went after the Palestinian protesters. They paved the way for this to happen because the Palestinian protesters were so unpopular that an evil Gestapo Nazi organization run by a pedophile like Donald Trump could get away with doing this kind of shit to Palestinian protesters. And then guess what? Because they're fascists, it never ends there. It goes on to migrants, it goes on to trans people, it goes on to other excluded minorities, it goes to people with autism, people with disabilities, and then it goes on to, of course, American citizens that are dissenters. And it doesn't even stop there. There have been Trump people caught up in this. Trump supporters have been taken by ICE because they look like their profile, like they should be profiled, which is what ICE is telling them to do. That's Democrats too, genius. No shit, dude, that's what I'm reading. You see, this is what I'm talking about. Even when I agree with you on something, you come at me. Because you're not actually about a solution. You're just about being a pain in the ass. And that's why you're losing. That's why you're heavily unpopular. And frankly, you're going to end up in Nuremberg. That's a you problem, not me. You are a true patriot, sir. Oh, well, thank you, Razor. I really appreciate that. Don't hear that often, so thank you. Hayem El Gamal, mother of 5 kids detained in Dilley for 10+ months, has suffered a serious medical emergency due to systematic denial of medical care. Is this the lady? Pain. We are concerned that systematic denial of medical attention may result. I mean, this is just torture. That's all this shit is. This denial of care is intentional. This happened in this happened in Nazi Germany. This happened in the concentration camps. The first people to die were the ones who were taken to these concentration camps, and they didn't die in the fucking furnaces. They died from lack of care, from lack of food, from lack of just attention. And yeah, what a surprise is we're seeing the same shit happen now. But God, I love this. This was a much-needed shot in the arm reading this. ICE agents tell the New York Times they were nervous showing up in Minneapolis. Oh, you were nervous. Oh. And how they traveled with girly suitcases. Oh, did you blend in? To not be detected. A senior ICE official details how officers would block in and kidnap United States citizens. Oh, you needed help. You needed help to kidnap a soccer mom. You're so brave. Oh, God. So brave. ICE agent. People were nervous about getting sent to Minneapolis. I got the notice and had to show up less than a week later. I didn't want people to know I was with ICE. I even intentionally took one of my wife's girly suitcases to make it look like I was traveling with a woman. It's amazing. These guys love to say that they're like such hardcore badasses, and then they do shit like this. like, this is the kind, isn't this the kind of shit that Andrew Tate and Clavicular and all these weird ass pedo steroid abusers are saying you lose your man card? Wasn't it Andrew Tate, the guy who was saying that, like, if you fuck women, you're gay? And yet here you are taking a girly suitcase because you got to go do your manly job of kidnapping abuelas selling roses. Ooh, such a tough guy. Everyone's Midwestern nice, so they're like, hey, welcome to Minnesota. What brings you to town? I told people I was there to take care of my nephews, so you lied. There were protests outside the Whipple building, which was our operating center. Driving in, I'd try to look straight ahead while I was being cursed out. Yeah, fuck you, dude. They would be like, kill yourself. You're Nazi trash. I mean, anything you would think of. They'd also protest outside certain hotels and make noise. We get messages saying, if you're at this hotel, just stay in your room. Don't leave. Guys would book the hotel with their personal credit card instead of their government card because it was safer. Oh, it's so sad. But people die in their cells, but you had to use your personal credit card? Oh my God, you suffer so much. No. Give me a fucking break. One guy put a Harris Wall sticker on his bags. Another guy put an anti-Trump sticker. What a bunch of fucking losers. These are the big tough guys that love to brag so much about smacking people over their head and breaking skulls and shooting bullets at people. This is who they are at heart. They're complete and total cowards. They don't believe, just like this pedophile XNF in my thread, in my chat, he's not believing in any of the shit that he's saying. He only believes in being a pain in the ass because some people, that's all they got going for them. They don't have anything to live for in their life. They don't have anything that brings them joy. They see a fucking rainbow and they want to piss on it. That's the kind of people, that's the kind of mindset of these MAGA people. And so here they are doing the one thing that they know can bring other people misery, but they know it's awful. So they have to disguise it. They're just pathetic, weak people. DHS border official, the majority of people were protesting. A significant number of people crossed the line, which absolutely negatively impact our ability to get the job done. Yes, it's fucking paying off. For example, if you have a child sex offender that you are looking for, that's always horseshit. I just covered like 84 child sex offenders in your fucking organization, dude, and yet you're never looking inside your ranks. You know where to live. You're trying to maintain a discreet presence. As you see that person exit a business or exit their house so you can arrest them, but you're surrounded by a bunch of people honking horns. They've effectively blocked that arrest. So if you recall, this is DHS's excuse for every single thing. And it always turns out to be bullshit. And the person that they do finally arrest has never been accused of that, is not even charged with it. They're just simply some elderly, Asian dude or Hispanic dude living at home who they either got mixed up with someone else or never lived there to begin with. Senior ICE officer, we were going around in rental cars arresting people. That was really wild to me. It would trip me out that anyone would pull over to a Nissan Altima with a blue light on it. It doesn't look legit. See, even they know. Even they know it's stupid. We have no authority to question a United States citizen, and they would do that. I saw officers block someone in, put them in a car, drive away, and once we get to a more secure location, look at that person and say, oh, shoot, that's not our target. See? XNFX, this isn't even me saying it. This is the senior ICE officers admitting they violate the Constitution. You know, the Constitution, that thing that you guys pretend to care so much about, the First Amendment, your beloved Second Amendment. They're right here literally saying that they're breaking the law. They're saying that they're against you. They're saying they're against your values, but you don't care because they're going against people that look different from you. That's why you're fucking evil. That's why you're going to get Nuremberged. You do not belong in polite society. You definitely do not belong around children. And yes, when this is all said and done, we are coming for you. You are not going to get away with this. It just lifts my heart to feel heard. Thanks, ICE lawyer. ICE lawyer. Some of the ICE agents who lean MAGA cannot wait for this administration to be done. I know the guys are tired. For the first time this month, I'm hearing guys questioning what they're being asked to do. They've had a year now of people spitting on their feet and constantly calling them pigs and fascists. Even when they're just standing there at the airport, it's having a real impact on people. Fuck yes! Oh, fuck yes! God, I'm going to have a happy rage. I love this shit. Every single thing that the anti-ICE people have been doing, first of all, they've been right about, but I want you guys to know, all my fucking comrades and patriots out there that have been hounding these ICE pedophiles, terrorists, and Nazis, It's paying off. This shit is paying dividends. We are winning, and I do not regret to inform you that this is going to end with all of them in chains. So, what are the Democrats and the people in charge spending their time on if not going after, pedophiles and people knowingly violating our rights and murdering people while they're being illegally detained? Oh, well, they are siding with the regime, and this is something that I actually had heard a lot about, but I didn't want to give my opinion on it because I didn't know a lot about it, but now it's being much more widely reported. Declassified files expose Jewish pre-state underground malicious contacts with Nazi Germany. So this is the origins of the Zionism that we see today, right? Avraham Stern of the pre-Israel Jewish militia Lehi, or Stern Gang, wanted to recruit Nazis to help with the Zionist project because Nazis want to cleanse Europe of Jews. Nothing is simpler than transferring them to their own state. This is the fucking handshake that we have between Zionists and Nazis. This is why Nazis are willing to tolerate Jews only in the context of them being Zionists, and vice versa. This is why Zionists, including people in Israel, partnering with the ADF in Germany and other such radical, violent Nazi organizations, because they see eye to eye that Israel is where they can go. The Zionists want to send all Jewish people to Israel, regardless of what they feel, what the Jewish people feel. And then all the Nazis want that too. They want the divided by... they want the separate but equal... They want the two-state solution, is what these two parties want. And that's why it's so important to differentiate between the difference of Zionists and Jews. Because... let's get to it. Hold on. 87% of Jewish Democrats oppose AIPAC spending to influence Democratic primaries. There is a vast difference, and it's growing bigger each day, between Zionists and the actual religion of Judaism. And this is what we need to have. We cannot have Zionists conflate Judaism with Israel, because that's exactly what the Nazis want. And I don't know about you, but typically my goal in life is to not do what Nazis want. The efforts of Zionist leaders to curry favor with Nazi Germany are a matter of public record and were meticulously documented decades ago. These efforts began almost immediately after the Nazis assumed power in 1933. That same year, the leadership of the Zionist movement in Palestine sabotaged a global Jewish-led boycott of Germany by concluding an agreement with Hitler known as the Havara Agreement. Okay, I have heard of this, but I hadn't actually read about this. Even... U.S. government violating the Constitution is old news. Glad to see you catching up, though. Oh, really? How'd you know it's old news if you don't watch news like you admitted, you dumb fucking idiot? God, these people have nothing. All right, XN, you're boring me. I'm not even going to bother. Stay in my chat. Keep yapping, but I'm going to ignore you now because this is stupid. Even the Italians have been insulting ICE, says Indigo the Fox. I don't know why I found that funny. It is also forgotten that when Nazi war criminal Adolf Eichmann was put on trial in Jerusalem in 1960 for his central role in the Holocaust, it was not his first visit to that part of the world. 37, Eichmann and a senior Nazi intelligence officer traveling incognito arrived in Haifa as guests of the Jewish Agency and Haganah, the mainstream leadership of the Zionist settlement in Palestine. The visit was a result of previous meetings in Berlin between Eichmann and Jewish Agency emissary Feivel Polks, in which they discussed their joint interest in the expulsion of Germany's Jews to Palestine. This is something that I had heard of, too, in that post-World War II Germany, and during World War II Germany, a lot of Zionists went to Palestine, which later became Israel, and they were the ones that made deals with Hitler and the Nazi regime to continue shipping Jews out until eventually Hitler and the Nazis had enough power that they didn't need to do that. So this must be kind of this is the prequel to the Zionist shitstorm of today. Eichmann's purpose was to examine the feasibility of this plan, but he was refused entry by the British mandatory authorities and compelled to leave the following day. Interesting. Zionist leaders collaborated with the Nazis during the Holocaust, most prominently in Hungary in 1944, when Rudolf Kastner reached an agreement with Eichmann and SS officer Kurt Becker, which permitted Kastner to select 1,600 Jews for emigration to Switzerland in exchange for assisting with the orderly deportation of the remaining 400,000 to Auschwitz. Specifically, Kastner committed to not warning Hungary's Jews about their impending fate, thereby ensuring the deportations could proceed without incident. So, Jesus Christ. Oh my God, it goes on. Does it go further? Jesus Christ. Okay, I thought this was going to be a short thread. So, to sum it up, there are clear evidence and precedents of Zionist leaders selling out the Jewish people to Nazi Germany as they're doing today, because it puts people in harm's way. For example, Holocaust Remembrance Day, I choose to remember Folk Bernadette, Swedish count and diplomat who, as vice president of the Swedish Red Cross, managed to save more than 30,000 prisoners for concentration camps during World War II. In 1948, he was appointed by the UN to be the mediator in Palestine. His World War II past didn't help him when the Stern Gang, Lehi, which is what that other thread was talking about, a Zionist militia, made him the target of a defamation campaign and released a caricature attached of him being kicked out of Palestine while giving the Nazi salute with the text, a suggestion to the agent Bernadette, get out of our country. Yeah, this all sounds pretty fucking familiar. So this is what the Zionists did, to the pro-Palestine protesters of our time. They would slander them, call them anti-Semitic for, saying they're pro-Hamas, when these kids at the colleges they thought it was hummus. They didn't know what the fuck these people were talking about. After Bernadette didn't comply with the suggestion, he was assassinated in Jerusalem by the Lehi on September 19, 1948, along with the head of the UN's French military observers in Palestine. One of the commanders of the Lehi at the time, who was responsible for ordering the hit, was Yitzhak Shamir, later the Prime Minister of Israel. So Israel just continues to elect terrible fucking people today, as they did back then. Folk Bernadette saved thousands for concentration camps, then went to Palestine to create peace, only to be called a Nazi and get murdered by the Zionist gang Lehi. Ironically, Lehi collaborated with Nazi Germany. There it is. Lehi's leader, Yitzhak Shamir, became Israel's prime minister. Jesus fucking Christ. Dude saves 30,000 people from concentration camps, and this is his reward. Unfucking believable. So this is what I'm talking about with Zionism. You can, once you read and hear stuff like this in their own words, you can understand how they could do evil shit like murdering someone who saved 30,000 Jews from concentration camps.
We've run out of time.
You murdered 300 people last week, including a baby at her father's funeral.
I'm going to leave
We murdered 300 terrorists last week, and I think those are your people.
Okay.
A one-year-old baby is a terrorist? I think that speaks volumes about your view of Arabs.
The one-year-old baby was put in harm's way because Hezbollah
I'm going to leave it there, gentlemen.
At a funeral?
See, these people are just... The Zionists, this person actually says it better than I. Zionism leads people to believe it's normal to murder a one-year baby at a funeral. This ideology is a cancerous toxin. It's fucking terrible. Again, this is the kind of brain rot and just fucking, I don't even know, non-linear thinking of the MAGA morons like this dipshit in my chat here. They will say anything to justify the horrible atrocities because they're not there for solutions. They're there to be the problem. Good job, Israel Lobby. And now, this is incredible to see this, by the way. 2022, it was plus 28. Minus 2 in 2025. Now, minus 16 among age under 50. Minus 47, that's a 44-point swing. 28 plus 16, that's what? 40, 2, 1, 3, 4, 40. That's 44 as well. 44 swing. Plus 3, minus 30, minus 55. That's a 58-point swing. Israelis or Palestine. 28 points for Israeli, 11 points for Palestine. When you have people saying shit like this, and then there's no effort of calibration. There's no effort to, like, introspect and be like, oh, wow, are we the baddies? I think we're the baddies. And that's why you see these kind of numbers, which has also led to Trump. You've seen this whole time. He's doing just terrible, terrible, terrible shit, and it continues to degrade his polling numbers. And like all fascists, rather than do a good thing, he continues to do shitty things that then hurt his own people. And, I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about. Iran secretly acquired a Chinese spy satellite that gave the Islamic Republic a powerful new capability to target U.S. military bases across the Middle East during the recent war. According to Financial Times investigation, leaked Iranian military documents show the satellite, known as TEE-01B, was acquired by the IRGC Aerospace Force in late 2024 after it was launched into space from China. Timestamp coordinate lists, satellite imagery, and orbital analysis show that Iranian military commanders later tasked the satellite to monitor key U.S. military sites. The images were taken in March before and after drone and missile strikes at these locations. What images. Fuck it. so I can't even see the pictures. That sucks. So this is, again, the people who think babies should be murdered, the people who could have this kind of a popularity streak, want us to get thrown into the tussle with this kind of crap. And now there's been a massive leak with China hacking America.
Okay. Well, we just heard from the FBI recently that there was a major cyber attack attributed to China. What response is under consideration for that cyber attack?
We do it to them. They do it to us. We do it to them.
It's just like what he said with Putin. Like, Putin is not such a bad guy. You think America is so great? From the guy whose like entire campaign slogan is "Make America Great Again."
You know.
Well, when was the last time we did a cyber attack in China?
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to tell you that, but we do them. They do us. It's been like that for a long time.
So
he's talking about like it's a swinger relationship. They do us, we do them. Sometimes we bring them dinner. Sometimes they bring us dinner. Sometimes we have wine. Sometimes we invite a toddler into the room so that they can watch or hopefully participate. But that's me. That's what I do. That's me. That's what Trump does. And sometimes Epstein is there giving me high fives. Also give me $5 bills based on what I'll do. Like, he's treating this like it's a swinger relationship. And this is treason. This is actual treason. He is giving aid to a foreign enemy, China, and he's doing nothing about their attacks against us. This is treason.
It's not going to be addressed?
And it's not his first time either.
Yeah, I'll address things, but, you know, it is what it is. Look, China's China. They're never easy, but we're doing great with China. I'm the toughest person in China anywhere in the world.
I'm the toughest person in China. That's why I let them hack us for free. I actually gave them my password. My password was password. And who knew that they already knew that?
I put on 100% tariff on Chinese cars. We don't have a Chinese car in the whole country. And if you look at Europe, they're being inundated with Chinese cars, and it's killing their car companies, okay?
It's fucking insane.
There's nobody tougher than me.
Okay. Well, we just heard from the FBI.
Again, this is literal treason. MAGA wanted Biden impeached over a Chinese weather balloon floating by. They were in their yards with deer rifles until Biden shot it down. China hacks in the federal government, and Trump says, it is what it is, and MAGA is silent. This is shit that Democrats can run on. This is little fodder that you can use to make him even more unpopular. But we just keep seeing that Democrats are just so fucking out of their league. And this, keep in mind, the Democrats as of right now are so out of their league that somehow they will find a way to lose to Vance. This J.D. Vance.
Issues, like for example, I recognize that a lot of young voters don't love the policy that we have in the Middle East. Okay, I understand that. I also know that we've secured the border. We've lowered housing prices now for 8 months in a row, and there's going to be more to come beyond that. We've made America energy dominant, which has lowered electricity costs and things like that. We've made it so that we have the lowest murder rate in 120.
This is so much cope. This is so much cope. This is like the person that's locked up in jail and they have to like have a mental, what's the Hannibal Lecter thing where he's in jail? He has a mind palace, right? And the mind palace is like his real world where he goes into. That's what's happening here. We have MAGA cope on the level of a mind palace.
27 years. I'm not saying you have to agree with me on every issue. I'm not saying you have to agree with me on every issue. What I'm saying is don't get disengaged because you disagree with the administration on one topic. Get more involved. Make your voice heard even more. That's how we...
So it's the Democrats' excuse of vote harder. It's Obama saying, don't boo, vote. And we all saw how those turned out.
We ultimately take the country back. It's not by you. You know, if you get 5 things you want and 1 thing you don't want, I see way too many people, especially in sort of the online conservative, Twitter sphere, who say, there's no point. No. Because, or let me give you another example, the SAVE Act, okay? A lot of people want the SAVE Act. I want the SAVE Act.
Magician.
I've been fighting for the SAVE Act literally since day one of the administration. And I've seen a lot of people saying, what the hell's the point of voting for these guys if, you've got 3 Republicans joining with the Democrats to prevent the SAVE Act from passing, or I guess 4 Republicans. And here's my response to that. Yes, it is annoying to me that there are only 45 or 46 Republicans who will fight politically to get the SAVE Act passed. But you know what? 10 years ago, that number was 35. So the answer to frustration is engagement. Don't give up on this process. Get more involved in this process and demand more from people like me. That's how we take our country back. I just think it's important to say that.
There it is. So, yeah, that was uninspiring. In fact, let's see how uninspiring it was to even the people that wanted to see him.
It doesn't bother me when he speaks on issues today. Frankly, even when I disagree with how he's applying particular principles. So
that is so fucking empty. The warm-up stretches in off-seasons are more packed than that. That's crazy. And
about
look,
what happened. So if you
there's right now there are people who are saying best viewers stream. Oh, you're a bot. There are people that are saying that the MAGA civil war is being overhyped because you look at Trump and he's still hugely popular with the base, and then Carlson is not, et cetera, et cetera. I don't think that's accurate, and this is part of why. I don't think those polls are necessarily looking at the correct criteria. I also don't think those polls are very valid. Those polls are also coming from right-leaning institutions that gain from having those kind of polls rather than showing reality because they're corporate media. So, this is what I'm talking about.
So if you want to complain about what happened in Gaza,
he's getting out-cheered by a random heckler in the audience. And he knows it. He had to sit back.
So if you want, sir, to complain about what happened in Gaza, why don't you complain about Joe Biden and the last administration? We're the administration that solved that problem.
I don't know. That clapping is that's pretty equal.
And by the way, not only was our administration like the administration that solved the problem, but the president. Excuse me, sir. Right now, you.
I love how he's getting booed for saying you're killing children. You saw this at the DNC too. We saw this at other events that Kamala went to. We would say you're killing children, and the reaction is to boo. Yeah, go to hell. Seriously, go to hell. If your reaction to hear about you're killing children is to boo people for saying that, you just don't belong on this plane of existence. You don't.
Right now,
get Moses,
you see more humanitarian aid coming into Gaza than it has any time in the past 5 years because we have taken that situation. So if you want to.
So this is part of why. This is TPUSA. This is the heart of the beast where it's already hugely underpopulated because no one wants to see this guy talk. And we're seeing more and more town halls, more and more MAGA politicians get confronted in public. Yeah, I think that this MAGA civil war is bigger than people are giving it credit for, and I think it's going to spill over further. And this is also interesting because the two pilots. Oh, yeah, this is kind of important. So the high-res imagery showed from April 10th shows 2 destroyed USHC-130J Combat 2 King 2 aircraft and 4 destroyed MH-60 Little Bird helicopters at a dirt airstrip near Shahriza, Iran. I almost said Japan. Jesus Christ. Wrong fucking continent. Multiple impact points are visible along the strip. So this calls into question, a lot of this shit was weird, their explanations. The government's explanations did not match up. So, the imagery largely debunks the got stuck narrative. It's far more likely that Iranian forces damaged or destroyed the aircraft, preventing them from taking off. There was also reports of injuries in U.S. media, which could help the overall situation. So, surprisingly, there has still been no details or appearance from the 2 U.S. pilots rescued after being shot down over Iran. One would expect Trump in particular to be keen to highlight this story and glean PR benefit from it, yet he has barely even discussed it since. This is so fucking insightful, because Trump needs that boost. He needs a PR win here. And instead of having two patriots right now that survived Iran enemy fire, they were out there, and they came back alive thanks to me. I brought them back personally. Hitched one over one shoulder, the other over the other, and they both were crying the whole way. Not me, I don't cry, I never cry. They were saying, "Sir, thank you for saving us." He doesn't have that moment. Instead, he has the moment of the DoorDash driver saying, "So, did you vote for me?" Here's your food. That's what he got instead. The Senate votes tomorrow on blocking the sale of bombs Israel is using to kill civilians in Lebanon and undermine the U.S. ceasefire. The House votes Thursday on disengaging U.S. forces from the Iran war. These will be among the most record-defining votes lawmakers ever take. This is going to be the new Iran war vote. And we need to know who is on the right side of history, who is on the side of the people, and who is the enemy. Let's stop calling it anything else. They are the enemy. People that support this war that bombed a school of 170 school children over getting our health care subsidized, they are the enemy. And I'm tired of pretending it's anything else. This is the only good kind of billionaire. The only kind of billionaire, like, just to give a sense of the insane scale of billions of dollars, Mackenzie Scott got about $38 billion after divorcing Bezos in 2019. She's become the world's generous philanthropist, giving away over $19 billion, and she's currently wealthier than when she started. Where does it say? She's got like 38.3 billion, kept 75%. I must have pulled up the wrong tweet, but it literally says worth here it is, $41.1 billion. She started off with 13.83 billion, or excuse me, 38.3 billion. She's given away 19, and she's gone back up to 41 billion. There is no reason not to tax the billionaires. And look at what they are doing. Jeff Bezos with a true tax rate of under 1% is fucking criminal. While you're filing your returns, some of the world's richest men are paying $0 in federal income tax and using those savings to dismantle our democracy. Tesla paid 0% federal income tax rate, despite billions. Musk paid a true tax rate of only 3.27%, while his wealth skyrocketed by 121 billion. Holy shit. Musk donated over $250 million to a pro-Trump super PAC. Musk has moved to bypass Congress and gut federal agencies. Jeff Bezos paid $0 in federal income taxes 2007 and 2011. Between 2014 and 2018, his true tax rate was 0.98% as he grew his wealth by 99 billion. This is insane. There is no reason to not tax the billionaires. Again, anyone against this is the enemy. We need to start treating them as such. Tom Steyer is not our friend. Michael fucking rapist Bloomberg is not our friend. Warren sitting on his ass and never having to actually work a day in his life, Buffett, is not our friend. Stop gooning for fucking billionaires and start fighting for their tax dollars. A jury has found Live Nation and Ticketmaster to be an illegal monopoly that overcharged fans. After the federal government settled the case, 34 states kept pursuing the giant ticker and concert company. Now the states have won. This is all popular shit. Taxing the rich. This is all shit. And again, this is why I fucking hate Newsom so goddamn much. Because Newsom has he is the Terminator prototype of politicians, right? He's this handsome, well-built dude that can just plow through issues and change a lot with the fucking pen stroke, in charge of the fourth largest economy in the world of California right now. And instead, he chooses to side with these guys. By the way, these three are all in the Epstein files. That is who he is siding with. So let's stop pulling our punches and stop mincing words. They are the enemy. And we need to tax them as such. And look at what we have. Hallelujah! 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 And it's done by Mayor Zoran Kwame Mamdani, who stereotypically in movies of the 2000s, if he were then, would just be him shouting, la 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 la, the whole fucking movie. And then the translation would say, we will be taxing the ultra-wealthy and global elites. This is the man, right fucking here. Look at what he got Kathy fucking Hochul, who was previously in multiple occasions when Zoran was running, before he got inaugurated, when Zoran got inaugurated, she was very anti-taxing the billionaires. Look at my boy is doing. If you can afford a multi-million-dollar second home in New York City, you can afford to join its residents in supporting the greatest city in the world. Fuck, hold on, I just gotta go jack off real quick. I love hearing this shit. Fuck yes. God, I don't need Viagra. I need fucking billionaire taxes to get me hard now. Huge first win for Mayor Mamdani's Tax the Rich plans in New York City. Mamdani just secured a deal with Governor Hochul to create the state's first ever tax on $5 million plus second homes owned by ultra-wealthy out-of-state residents. Hochul hopes to raise $500 million annually that would be used to support the city's deficit. That is fucking insane. $500 million. Like, this could actually be used for good. $500 million. I mean, schools, hospitals, fucking potholes. And we have a city council here in LA, as well as a fucking governor that won't tax the rich. Fuck California. I thought this was actually going to come to a big, like, battle of the beast here, butting of the heads, but these two, I'm telling you, there's something about Zoran. He's obviously, like, he's a good-looking dude. He seems to have a very affable personality. He has that kind of aura that can bring you in. But he must just have the cunnilingus of persuasion. I mean, he must have the throat goat ability of bringing people verbally onto your side. It's insane what he's been able to do to literally call Trump a fascist to his face in the White House. And Trump is like, well, I think he's still a nice guy. It's insane. The charm, the fucking wizardry of Mamdani. I actually covered this. So this is price-fixing schemes. Fully regulating dynamic and surveillance pricing means going further. Maryland and every other state in the country still have work to do to regulate promotional offers, loyalty programs, temporary discounts. That includes ensuring consumers can take legal action against businesses that exploit their data to rip them off. This is all super popular shit. And there's a reason that, there is a reason that Mamdani is super popular right now. There is a reason that he is one of the most popular Democrats in the country. There's a reason he is more popular than Kathy Hochul. Because he continues to do what the people want. I've said this for so fucking long. Politics is super easy. All you have to do is what the people want, not what your donors want. Austerity Myth Festival, Stealth, and Sex Graduate Training Organization people do not agree. What? Austerity Myth Festival, Stealth. What in the word salad? I have to try to. Austerity Myth Festival, Stealth, and Sex Graduate Training Organization people do not agree. What in the hell is that sentence? So this is also something that's popular to run on. You know what's popular? Not killing kids. That's what the pro-Palestinian demonstrators realized right fucking away. And yet look at what's happening to kids here. 2 studies confirm Tylenol don't cause autism. 1 study confirms water fluoridation doesn't affect cognitive function. But that doesn't mean that we can't just keep doing. I need to have children's blood. Just let me have a little more, please. Just let me stay in office for a little bit longer. I need more children's blood, please. I will never look as wrinkly, but also as young if I don't have children's blood. Is that the only reason he's in this shit at this point? Oh, and since he's been nominated, there have been over-confirmed 4,000 cases of measles in the U.S. This is insane. Look at this shit. RFK nominated. And it's only going to get worse. I'm telling you, Trumpism is not only it's a threat to the world, it's a threat to our country, it's also a threat to their own children. It's only 1 minute 15. I'll watch this. So I'm not a huge fan of these AI videos. I think they're horse shit. It's AI slop. I'm only watching them because I am told they're very good. And also, it's very important to cover this news in the context of the Iran war. Iran's AI videos are now going Toy Story style. Oh my God, they have the music.
You're my favorite toy. You do everything I say.
That's
you go
bad.
wherever I point you. And the best part is, you think it's all your idea.
BB,
That's so bad.
put those stupid toys away and come eat your breakfast. You have a very busy day of destroying nations today.
That boy really abuses those stupid toys.
Holy shit, dude.
What the hell are you guys looking at? On your feet! We're going to war! I don't know who we're fighting or why, but Bibi said go, so we're going. Don't ask questions. Move out!
It's the one guy
I
laying
gave
down.
that kid everything he asked for, and I still ended up on the floor. Good luck, Jack. Hey! Sippy Sleepy Joe, can you not see I'm building something very important here?
Good luck,
This is the
Jack.
third temple. Come on, man. And when Bibi sees it, he's gonna realize I'm his favorite toy.
Toy Story? How stupid is this? Are you talking about my stream or that video or both? A, B, or C, sir? I feel like some of this stuff is anti-Semitic. I'm not super versed on that, but I feel that Satan telling BB what to do is... There's some anti-Semitism there that I can't quite pin down. I'd have to talk to somebody much smarter than I am. God, and then fucking the Biden appearance. Come on, Trump. I gave that guy everything, man. What'd you do? How much did you have to bribe him? Or did he bribe you? I'm not sure which. Where am I? That's insane. This is still pretty funny, though. Okay, so as you all know, Orban lost in... Ow! I bent my fingernail back trying to scratch an itch on my foot. Oh, fuck me. Oh, fuck me. All right, so Orban lost to Peter Magyar. Isn't that his name? Magyar Peter? Magyar Peter. Okay. And I do find this very funny, and I really hope this is the energy the Dems bring next time around. Goes to see the president, who has no choice but to name him prime minister, tells him to his face that he is a disgrace to his function and unworthy of the title, calls him to resign the second after he will have named Magyar prime minister, takes a pic with the guy after all, talk about asserting dominance. Hello from Politics Tag, how are you? Hi, Aliana, I am well, hope you're doing well. I am almost done with the stream here, but thank you for tagging in on the end. Yeah, I really hope this is the energy the Democrats need to have, because, I mean, Trump did it. When he left in January 2020, he didn't even give anyone the keys. He just fucking bailed. Thank you for saying my name right. Oh yeah, of course, you're welcome. I'm glad I got it right. He just fucking bailed. Didn't have any decorum, didn't have any of the ceremony, pomp and circumstance horseshit. He just bailed. This is the kind of energy Democrat, because you know that if Trump runs a third time and he's beaten by a Democrat, it's going to be more January 6th terrorism. And you need to, honestly, I think this is why Mamdani has been so successful. He's been able to just absolutely Indiana Jones bullwhip Trump into submission because he went to his face and called him a fascist. I think he just got to out-alpha the fuck out of them, you know? All right, I was going to watch one more video just to end on a positive streak, but, oh, fuck it. Here, let's do this. Why can't I watch this on a bigger screen?
Hey!
What?
She's going.
Oh
my god!
That would freak me out. He's like, bitch, get that hair over here. I thought he actually pulled the hair out when I first saw this. Side eye.
Pop the bubbles. Pop them. Pop. Good girl. Good girl.
That's pretty cool.
Good girl.
You're gonna fall, bro. Oh, he's holding on by the tail. Aw. That's some Lion King posing right there. Alright, that's enough, because I unfortunately do have to go for the evening. But thank you all, and Merry Christmas, and to all good fortune. Allahu Akbar!